Oh, this is going to be a good one. Hello, my favorite people. Wrong intro. Ladies, gentlemen, everything in between. Hello, welcome to the channel. I do that a lot, and y'all don't know how chaotic it is to keep this channel, That American Girl versus Favour Reacts. I got a lot going on, so my mind is frazzled. Anyway, today we'll be checking out a concert that y'all have been requesting for like the past few months, wanting me to react to. It's called Live Aid. I think it was in 1985, so it's before I was even alive. I don't think I was even in my daddy's ball sack at that time. This is Queen live at Live Aid. I'm going to be listening to the history of it, seeing the concert, knowing what the hype is all about, because when I say y'all have been reacting or requesting for me to react to this, y'all have been requesting for me to react to this. So I'm hoping it's going to live up to the hype. It's Queen, so of course it is. I'm not talking though, let's get right into it. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video, DM me over on Instagram the content y'all want me to react to, and here we go. Freddie, you better do what you do.
Why was the Queen Live Aid concert the best ever?
Let's see.
Throughout history, there's been countless concerts all around the world, but among all the bands and musical styles,
y'all should know by now that my favorite instrument is the guitar. You've got the electric, you got the bass, you got the big ones that's like do 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 do. Now you got one with two necks. And it looks like you can tune it two different ways on each neck. Whoever invented the guitar, shout out to you.
Bands and musical styles, one show still stands as one of the greatest shows of all time. Let's explore why Queen's performance at Live Aid is widely remembered as the greatest concert of all time. One of the most famous rock bands in history, the British rock group Queen, stunned the world when they performed on July 13th, 1985 at the Live Aid venue. Together, the glory days of Queen featured Roger Taylor, Brian May, John Deacon, and the legendary Freddie Mercury.
Yo!
Queen's music has been featured in movies, received numerous covers from other artists,
another big concert it looks like.
They've sold close to 300 million albums since their start in the 70s. And they're one of the elite groups inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I didn't know y'all have a Hall of Fame. We need to check out the Hall of Famers. But I'm just looking at the artwork for each album. Bitch! Okay, there we go. Iconic, Bohemian Rhapsody. They sell this one at Walmart. This one, I just recognize the big robot man because that's iconic. Maybe we'll check out the entire discography. It looks, they have way more work than I even thought they did. A jazz album? Freaking Queen does jazz.
It's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
While other rock shows have made history, including Elton John's performance of Candle in the Wind at Princess Diana's funeral.
Princess Diana is probably like the... Americans make fun of British people for everything and anything under the sun, but one thing we'll never even touch or comment on and be negative is Diana. And I gotta be honest, this is another video. This is a whole other video we could be doing, but there's no way in hell Princess Diana all of a sudden just, oh, car accident, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Candles burn out long before.
He has a nice voice.
No concert before or since can live up to the magic of Queen's Live Aid show. Almost half of the planet tuned in to watch the concert, with various broadcasts collectively raking in some 2 billion live views. So what was Live Aid, and what made this performance so spectacular and unforgettable?
Wait. 2 billion. That's almost like 1/3 of the world population. Yeah! What the heck? Whoa, that's a lot of power. That's wild. That's like a Michael Jackson level status. My gosh.
Live Aid. Unlike traditional concerts, Live Aid was a benefit show designed to raise funds to help out in the wake of the Ethiopian famine. The venue was spearheaded by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure, who pulled together a spectacular lineup filled with memorable performances.
Oh. Wait, I legit thought this was just like a Queen concert. Live Aid was a charity event? With 2 billion people tuning in? That's using your power for good. That's nice. I wish more celebrities cared. Like, we just saw, it's been all over Twitter that Elon Musk bought Twitter for like it was either 44 million or 44 billion. A high number of money. And people like, all that money to buy, I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes sense for him, but all that money could have done so much good. But hey, I'm not pocket watching. He can spend his money however he wants. But it's just nice to see for a change people using their status and wealth to actually help other people, the less fortunate, which I think ultimately makes you the best kind of person.
The event was a follow-up to Bob and Midge's successful charity single, Do They Know It's Christmas? The two were inspired by BBC News coverage documenting the Ethiopian famine, who described it as a biblical famine in the 20th century, and the closest thing to hell on earth. More than 85,000 people were affected, and staff and supplies were simply not enough to support the population. First-hand activists and support staff were left traumatized by the conditions they worked in, and it was clear that everyone involved needed help. Together, Bob and Midge pulled strings in the music industry to get a supergroup together which they dubbed Band-Aid, who released a single titled, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Okay, but I'm sure they're not just singing some ordinary Christmas carol. If a child is starving, you think they want to hear you singing Jingle Bells? No. So I'm sure it was way deeper than what's just being told here. But also, if y'all want, since this is like a culture channel, we can check out also the history of Africa. We may even dive into Nigeria's history, because I'm Nigerian. As you know, Favour, my name, it's spelled with the O-U. That's because Nigeria was colonized by Britain. Just the division of the land, the not even caring about what tribe is where, and just, it's a whole mess. We could talk about imperialism and check it out on the channel, of course, if you guys want me to, but there's a lot of stuff to go into it. It's deeper than just a concert in Ethiopia, you know?
Which managed to reach #1 on the UK charts, and it even stayed there for 5 weeks straight. It was the fastest-selling single in Britain's history, raising £8 million, and
even more than the Beatles.
Immediately began planning Live Aid to raise even more for relief efforts. The pair planned to have 2 stages at Wembley and Madison Garden, with live audience members at each venue, and each venue televised globally. With 2 locations, more artists could attend with less travel, and the event could swap between each location after each set, so there would be as little downtime as possible. However, despite their success, Bob had to use a few tricks to get bands interested. He called Elton and lied that Queen and Bowie were already planning on attending, and he went through the rest of the artists promising the same story. His bluff...
Wow. That's kind of... I mean, we all know Elton John is like a god when it comes to the music industry. But I don't want to go... This is making it seem like he only attended because he thought other superstars were attending. You would hope that he would do it just for the cause, you know?
Paid off, though, as he assembled one of the biggest star-studded venues in history.
Nice.
That became home to the greatest musical performance of all time. The concert was a landmark for television. Look at these people
jumping out of the crowd.
It quickly became clear that their plan would be the most...
This is somebody's mom fiending over whoever this guy is. He looks like he's wearing a old Victorian wig. She's... Whoa. Fiending.
Complex live event ever broadcast. To make it all happen, the European team was supported by the BBC with 9 different interviewers hired to fill any gaps in their performances.
Nice.
This marathon broadcast,
it's like the Olympics, but British.
Event that's ever been organised anywhere in the world. Some £13 million by the end of tonight.
The show. Queen wasn't the only music powerhouse to perform that day. Other acts included Sir Elton John, the late David Bowie, U2, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Rick Springfield, Madonna, Dire Straits,
Madonna?
Sting, Phil Collins, and even the Beatles' own Paul McCartney.
No. This wasn't just a concert. This was iconic. Did you hear? Oh, that lineup. That's wild. If you got to go to Live Aid in the flesh, congrats. That's like Coachella, but actually good, you know?
Showed up to the gig, to give their own amazing performances.
Wow.
Queen's performance marked the comeback of Freddie, whose electric energy, perfect vocals, and passion resonated with fans all around the world.
His little outfit. Ooh.
Leading up to the show, Queen was in a slump after the commercial and critical flop, Hot Space, that came out 3 years prior in 1982. The release was so disastrous that the band went on hiatus from recording.
Aww.
Mercury went on to release his own solo album, Mr. Bad Guy, which also underperformed. When interviewed about their turbulent time in the mid-80s, Freddie said, "We were all forming a sort of a rut. I wanted to get out of this last 10 years of what we were doing. It was so routine. It was like, go to the studio, do an album, go out on the road, go round the world and flog it to death. And by the time you came back, it was time to do another album. After a while, it's like a painter, you know?"
That does make sense. I can see how it just... from the outside looking in, it sounds like you're living this grand life, but I'm sure after a while, all that running around catches up to you physically. Your body can literally only do so much without substances propelling you and giving you energy. But yeah, I feel like I could handle that for maybe 1 or 2 years. Even when I came to Europe, I was like, by the end of the trip, I was ready to be back home because I was just like exhausted from you're stimulated, you're overstimulated all day, every day. So I can see what he means.
You paint away, and then you stand back and look at it in perspective. That's exactly what we needed. We just needed to be away from each other. Otherwise, you just keep going in that routine,
Not a cigarette.
and you don't even know if you're going down. When it was showtime, Freddie, who became a fashion icon known for his flamboyant style, took a different approach for the show and showed up in a white tank top, skinny jeans, and a studded armband belt combo. The look resonated with a wider audience of rock fans to keep fans focused on their performance and their music. Queen also had to cut out their normal light show, special effects, smoke, and pyrotechnics, since the show had a fast turnaround between artists to keep live viewers glued to their TVs. The event was a huge PR boosting moment.
Nice.
So the band took the opportunity to rehearse their performance to perfection and pack their set list with their biggest hits to take listeners on an emotional roller coaster filled with spectacular theatrics. Queen performed in front of a crowd of
I like how they chose to mix it up. It wasn't just like fast energy, high energy songs, slow song at the end. Like it was an emotional spiral. Now, I feel like that would just make me be more in tune and having more fun. The fact that I can't even control my emotions and like dopamine's here, sadness there, serotonin here, depression the next song. I like that. Like that keeps the listener interested. What the fuck is going on with my keyboard?
72,000 people at London's Wembley Stadium that day, and billions of people on television. Their performance lasted 22 minutes, starting with Bohemian Rhapsody, followed by Radio Gaga, Hammer to Fall, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, We Will Rock You, and Queen capped off their set with their epic finale,
Somebody
We
to
Are
Love?
the Champions.
The best song they've ever written, Somebody to Love. You hear the crowd? For losers!
Unlike other artists who might play their latest singles to drive record sales, Queen only included one current single, Hammer to Fall, and opted to pack the rest of their show with their greatest hits to win back fans and win the hearts of countless new fans. To add to the craziness, Mercury was reportedly not feeling well on the day of the concert, and doctors advised him not to perform. However, he rejected their pleas and chugged some tall shots of vodka and headed out on stage.
Vodka was the powering force? Anyways, I just wanted to go back to this tank top because I love that. The arrows, it's just something, there's fashion here.
And doctors advised him not to perform. However, he rejected their pleas and chugged some tall shots of vodka and headed out on stage. The singer was diagnosed with HIV in 1987, but he started to show symptoms back in 1982. In spite of his declining health, Freddie faced the challenge head-on and still put on an incredible show, which only added to the memory of Queen's Live Aid concert. However, even with their jam-packed set list, Queen faced an uphill battle, since their spot was in between groups that were unquestionably more popular at the time. U2 blew the lid off the...
Yeah, y'all in my comment section always talking about U2. U2's got, in my opinion, nothing on Queen. Not a drop, not a single hair, No comparison. I don't care. Oh, Favour, you just don't know. You weren't alive yet when they were popping. I don't care. It's Queen. Come on.
The place with her performance right before Queen,
too.
and fans were itching to see David Bowie perform after they were finished. So
Yeah,
how did they win
David
fans
Bowie.
over? The set list. But it was
That'd be
Freddie
cool.
who stole the show and cemented Queen as one of the greatest rock bands in history with his performance at Live Aid.
Yeah.
Mercury was dynamic and engaging. He started off playing the piano at the start of Bohemian Rhapsody, danced, and marched around the stage with a sawed-off mic during Radio Gaga, leading the crowd to clap along with the beat. Mercury and the rest of the band didn't just stun the crowd. Backstage, even Elton John remarked that Queen stole the show. But
Elton John looks so different when he was younger. Like, seeing him now, like, I only know Elton John for what he looks like now. I didn't grow up with Elton John. Haven't really even... I don't think I've heard a single song by Elton John. But, like, this doesn't look like Elton John to me. I mean, aside from the glasses, this does not give Elton John. And he said in the video that Live Aid is what cemented Queen as, like, icons. I would argue that they were icons before Live Aid. And they would probably be icons, in my opinion, without Live Aid. Like, just their set list alone, they had those songs before Live Aid. So, come on. They're icons with or without.
John remarked that Queen stole the show.
Yeah.
But Mercury wasn't finished yet. After the last set walked off stage, Mercury and Queen's guitarist Brian May came back on stage for the show's grand finale with their acoustic version of Is This the World We Created?
Oh.
It was a perfect fit for the show, highlighting the tragedies throughout the world and the importance of coming together to help one another and to be kind to each other.
Music
Despite
has changed so
fitting perfectly
much.
with the event, Queen had written the song well before the show was ever dreamed of, showing their forward-thinking mindset and cementing them as the perfect group for Live Aid. Freddie even said, "It looks as if we wrote Is This the World We Created for this event, but we didn't, although it seems to fit the bill." Queen was the only band to figure a way to play all their hits during their limited time window, but even though they were catapulted into even bigger fame after the event, they were excluded from performing on the next Band Aid supergroup album. Band Aid was run by the same founders of Live Aid, which hit a sore spot for Queen, but things worked out for them even though they got left out. When asked about...
First of all, rude, because the way he's talking about it sounds like Freddie Mercury and team were the ones who kind of made Live Aid. I mean, don't get me wrong, of course you've got Madonna, Elton John, David Bowie! But still, to this day, the one you always hear about or reference when it comes to Live Aid is Queen. So I don't know, kind of fishy, stinky that they got left off the album.
About Band Aid, Freddie had this to say: "I would have loved to have been on the Band Aid record, but I only heard about it when I was in Germany. I don't know if they would have had me on the record anyway because I'm a bit old." Make no mistake,
What?
none of the groups had to perform for Live Aid. The lineup was all filled with incredibly sensational musicians who all had plenty of fans.
Beatles guy.
While the PR boost for Queen was undeniable, they didn't perform for the clout. When asked about why Queen chose to play the show, Freddie had this to say: "I'm not doing it out of guilt. Even if I didn't do it, the poverty would still be there. It's something that will always be there, to be honest, when you think about it. All we can do to help is wonderful things. I'm doing it out of pride. Pride that I've been asked, as well as that I can actually do something like that. And so basically, I'm doing it out of feeling that one way all the hard work that I've actually done over the years has paid off, because they're actually asking me to do something to be proud of. I'm actually in with all the biggies, and I could do something worthwhile, to actually sing something that's an integral part of what's going on, you know? In the song, We Are the Champions. Seems to convey that anyway, without...
It's not even... Okay, so to me, Freddie's just like, he can do no wrong. Not just because, one, he's a great musician, but did you hear his whole monologue that he just gave about, like, he's not even... The reason he's excited to perform for Live Aid wasn't because, oh, I'm performing with all these cool people and I'm famous, blah, blah, blah. He was happy to be chosen at all because now he gets to leave a footprint or a mark on the world. Aside from what his music has done, he's actually influencing and doing good. He's doing what influencers should be doing, you know? He's a positive impact.
I was thinking about it. That's what's magical. And I think that's going to probably bring tears to my eyes, I tell you, when I do it. I think Bob Geldof has done a wonderful thing, because he actually sparked it off. I'm sure we all had it in us to do that, but it took someone like him to actually drive. And it is like a driving force to get us all to come together. We're going to do bits of Bohemian Rhapsody, but basically, you're not trying to put across your new material or anything like that. You're playing songs that people identify with, and just make it a happy occasion. It's not a promotional thing. It's a thing where you just have to sit back and think what you can do. The aftermath. Off the back of their successful performance from this show, Queen booked touring venues the following year in 1986. While sales were booming, this would be the last year the band would perform globally, with Freddie's health beginning to decline rapidly in the following years, as he began losing his battle with AIDS. Queen went on to produce 3 albums with Freddie at the helm.
I can't even type because my keyboard's not working. Someone let me know. Is there a cure for AIDS yet? Let me know. Also, was he was a homosexual, right? Pretty
released in 1986. The Miracle from 1989.
The Fashion.
Innuendo, released in 1991.
Innuendo.
The same year Freddie passed away. The event had a lasting impact on Freddie's personal life as well.
I bet his funeral was like he was royalty. I'm sure.
In the years before Live Aid, Freddie was fostering a long-term relationship with Jim Hutton, despite being lovers.
Okay.
Jim never attended one of Queen's live shows. That is, until Live Aid. Hutton wrote about the historic moment in his memoir, Freddie and Me. When Freddie came off, he rushed to his trailer, and I tottered behind like a puppy. His first words were, "Thank God that's over." Joe ripped his wet clothes from him and dressed him. Adrenaline still overflowing, Freddie knocked back a large vodka to calm himself. Then his face lit up. As we stepped out of the caravan, we met a grinning Elton John. That's what...
The gays out! In 1985, too. That's wild. But look at their little matching mustaches, matching chest hair. I don't like chest hair.
And Elton delivered his praise for their performance. Freddie, huge praise from a fellow supporter of the LGBTQ movement.
Shout-outs to him.
Star. After the show, the band named after royalty was honored by British Royal Mail, who put Mercury front and center on a commemorative stamp, along with bandmates Roger Taylor and Peter Blake behind him. Nice. This wasn't just a passing
Queen Elizabeth.
Up to that point, only historical figures were depicted on the stamps, and Mercury and Company were the first Englishmen to be featured on the stamp while still alive.
They deserve it.
Co-organizer, Geldof, had his own praise for Queen's performance and their lasting impact on their fundraising venues. Queen were absolutely the best band of the day. They played the best, had the best sound, used their time to the full. They understood the idea exactly, that it was a global jukebox. Yeah. They just went and smashed one hit after another. It was the perfect stage for Freddie, the whole world. He could pounce about on stage to We Are the Champions. How perfect could it get?
I like how he said they were performing the hits. That's why you're there, because you're Queen, because the world loves you, and you're supposed to be bringing out good vibes. I feel like he was referencing Madonna when he said that someone came out and just started promoting their new music that nobody probably really knew, or they just used the stage, Madonna, as an opportunity to kind of, again, just promote her new album or whatever. But Queen used the opportunity to play their hits, which is what the other person should have did, and I don't know, just garner more energy, more attention, more being here in the now. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just like how they basically used their time wisely, and they knew the assignment and did it.
Any great musicians. Freddie's genius wasn't fully appreciated during his lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes, the band saw great success in their second coming following Live Aid, but they never fully commanded the magic they hold in their hearts and minds of fans today. Many music fans and publications still heap praise on Mercury, calling him the best rock frontman of all time.
Yeah.
The lead singer of the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, praised the moment as a turning point in rock history, saying, "Every band should study Queen at Live Aid. If you really feel like that barrier is gone, you become Freddie Mercury. I consider him the greatest frontman of all time." Although he passed away much too soon, Mercury had an undeniable impact on rock culture, from inspiring countless new vocalists. And in 2018,
and isn't she named after Gaga?
An Oscar-winning film titled Bohemian Rhapsody was made to commemorate the life of Queen's own frontman. The stars truly aligned for Queen's triumphant comeback at Live Aid. They overcame all odds, put on an incredible performance, and won...
Sorry, do y'all think the other bandmates ever get jealous? Because, the band is Queen, but again, he is the frontman, so he does get more attention. But, it can sometimes be two separate concepts. It's Freddie Mercury or Queen. And Freddie Mercury is still a part of Queen, so I don't know.
Won the hearts of fans to this day with their concert on July 13th, 1985. And their concert will go down as the best of all time. Make sure to tell me down below what you think of Queen.
Just seeing him strut his stuff in those skinny jeans. It was, let me know if you want me to check out the entire concert or parts of the concert, but... Oh. Am I frozen?